seafood boy. TV na bedi le boy. Bueno.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience. Now we would like to commence the event. Let's get ready for a very thrilling event. With that, we'll call Mr. Pati to the stage to open the event for us.
Boy. Pada Surabaya you start in next, let's say 5 minutes. Enggak nih? Manggo ya Instagram. I'm not Insta. Buat Instagram lah dia kata. Saya mau sayang saja, dia mau saja. Saja mau kami live.
Yeah, sitting down. And the money is spoken to the friends. How do you see that? It was on our side. Okay, don't accept it. Hello? Mics are something else. So we can manage that. It is an honor to welcome you once again to this very important meeting. We have new people that are not here yesterday, they joined us today.
Okay.
We want to welcome them to this important event. We want to once again welcome you back to this very important hall. If you look around, you see facilities. You see beautiful hall that is given to us by the authorities of Mineral University for the second time. We want to take this moment to once again thank the authorities of the university. We want to also thank each and every student that have dedicated their time to travel hundreds of kilometers to come to this place to witness this very important occasion. It is a testament to your love for your country, a testament for your patriotism and your sense of responsibility. Being here is not a waste of time. Being here is not a waste of resources. You are going to build a network of friends that will be very much useful in your life. You are going to learn, you are going to interact with people. This is something that is worth paying for an aeroplane ticket to come here. Make best use of this moment to connect with people. You don't know how these people that you will be connected will be useful in your life. It's not your network, but your network. If you have a good network, you tap into your network. So try to leverage these opportunities to build those connections. Do not isolate yourself. Make new friends, talk to people. Do not be reserved. You never know who you are destined to succeed with. Build those connections. That is the whole essence of life. People are traveling thousands and thousands of miles to build connections. You have the opportunity to be here. Build those connections. Talk to people from other countries. And that's why you also use this opportunity to thank other students from other countries to join us here today. We can share ideas, we can share best practices. What are some of the things that are happening in your country? What are some of the things that are happening in my country? What common challenges do we have? How do we work towards the development of the continent? How do we uplift each other? How do we care for each other? How do we protect each other? That is the mantra. That is the whole essence of life. Today, some of you are here. You are winners. There are people that do not have the opportunity and will never have the opportunity to be here. your brothers and sisters, your cousins back home, in towns, in villages. Your opportunity to be here, make this use of it. Try to gather as much knowledge as possible when you go back home, share it with them. Try to educate, create awareness in your communities. Try to uplift your communities. Try to eradicate poverty in your communities. Try to work for the development of mankind. That is the essence of being in this world. I want to also thank the executive for standing and working in and out to ensure this event. For the food, I can't say anything. The only thing I can say is thank the Gujarat University for affording us the payment. It is something that is very big. It's not easy to have a venue in India. The food that is being provided for is a budget. It's something that the Indians eat. And it's something that I believe we can eat. We can't complain. And the association is doing everything possible to provide side food for us. That is also very much lauded. It's laudable issue. So there's nothing to complain. The accommodation that we have, I understand there is no AC in the girls' sectors. We would have loved for you to enjoy the full AC. But let us manage that. Because we have been providing these facilities to free of charge. Other people from other nations do not have that. But we would have been charged lots for these things. So let us appreciate the little things that are being accorded to us. That is one of the things that I wanted to discuss. And finally, let us participate actively in activities that has been created, that have been captured. Participate. If you have any skill, come forward, talk to the organizers, see if you can display your skill. You can share the knowledge that you think is worth sharing. Seek information. I believe there will be an opportunity to slot some of those things. Do not keep quiet when you have something that you really need to share and people will benefit from. Do not be quiet about that. Participate fully. It is your event. It is a lifetime opportunity. Some of you might have something very important. Some of you sitting down here are brilliant. Engineers in your own areas. Experts in your own areas. You have things that you wish to share with people. Come forward. Take a little moment, share it with people. And if you believe me, anyone is interested in connecting with you, they will use that opportunity to connect with you. And then you've got experts that can pile influence in order to know. On that note, I would like to thank you all and give that to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pati. So we put our hands together once more for one of the most This message is not just inspirational, I think it's motivational to us as well. But somebody came forward and said it's not your net worth, it's your network. But somehow I would argue that your network would determine your net worth in some way. Also, it has been brought to my notice that most of you girls don't have ACs in your room. All of you don't have ACs in your room. How many of you would like that fixed?
No, it's okay. It's for everyone. There are even
We're willing to share. You're willing to share.
No. Okay, we don't want to share.
You will give a word for you.
No problem.
You will come forward, right?
Yes.
So after this, you can give me a list of those of you that would like ACs in your room. Me and my guys will share. We share as business. So with that, I will let my co-MC, Madam Qualified, Miss.
The next agenda is our panel discussion, and the topic of this discussion is STEM power, equipment use for innovation, employment, and empowerment. I would like to call upon our brilliant panel members. We have Mr. Saini Kede, Ms. Aliyah Gilip, Mr. Mulami Waga, Suleiman Song, Mr. Daniel, and of this discussion.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, audible, yeah.
Yeah, good morning, future change makers. As the MC already introduced the topic, it's one of the most exciting topics. STEM power, equipping youth for innovation, employment and empowered future.
Education engineering actually contributes to STEM. STEM in itself is very wide. It's a very wide. We cannot talk about everything. But when you look at electronics and communication engineering, it's something that has to do with, in the name itself, the electronics and the communication of the electronics component within every system we have. Each and every system we have has electronic components. So from the components, the embedded systems, to the coding aspect, to everything with telecommunications, it's all under electronics and communication. Now, how does this actually improve the STEM? And how does it facilitate innovation among the youth? With electronics and communication engineering, when you come forward as an electronic and communication engineer, what you study in the books is not usually what you meet on the ground. You can learn a couple of components, but when you come to the ground, they do not work. Which means when the youth come forward in this aspect, they're supposed to bring forward their innovative skills. If what we learn in the books is not working, it is now up to you to use your critical thinking skills to somehow fix that. Now, this over and over and over again actually builds the capacity of man over you to be able to solve problems on the ground. If you fix problems, they don't work. You try again, they don't work. You bring other components, even though they are supposed to work. The theoretical aspect says it works. The practical is not working. With this, you learn different things over and over time. You get used to solving problems on the ground. So this is something that creates innovation among the youth. It's something that gives you critical thinking capacity and it boosts your moral sense. So thank you.
Mr. David rightly said, if you look at the first world countries right now, what we are saying is STEM is the backbone of every country right now. In terms of development, as we can all see in India, the first class roads, the railways and everything, as he rightly mentioned about electronics. Now I would like to give you a follow-up, Mr. David. In what ways can STEM education through EC improve employment opportunities? Because as I can see the faces, many people are graduating and then they are looking forward in the future. What am I going to venture into? So I think STEM as engineering students, technology students, mathematics students, they will be very interested in that.
Yeah, like I said, electronics and communication is very vast. So how does it
what ways can education through EC improve employment opportunities?
How does it improve the employment opportunities? Right. So electronics and communication, like I said, it encompasses a lot of things, from the cybersecurity aspect to the coding aspect to the computer science aspect. But when you study electronics and communication, you do diverse topics. You do embedded systems, you learn code, you do telecommunications as well. So you can see these are different fields in the same sector. With this, after you study PCE, you have a background knowledge of code, you have a background knowledge of telecoms, you have a background knowledge of embedded systems, which means you can now work in the sector of the embedded systems. You can also work in the sector of the telecommunication, that is the networking aspect, all this internet connectivity. And also you can work in the coding aspect, that is with the team of the cybersecurity. So this in itself has a lot of employment opportunities.
Thank you very much, Mr. David, for that wonderful answer. As you all know, we are all using devices and they are all made up of electronics components. So I think it's a very good thing. Now, that takes me to the next panelist, that is Mr. Suleiman Sow. studying a very enticing field, which is biomedical science. So my question to Mr. Suleiman is, how is innovation in biomedical science opening new frontiers for new careers from research to public health?
Thank you. Good morning to you all. Yes, as the rightly introduced, my name is Suleiman Song. I am studying at Delhi University, biomedical science, final year student. So, before going into that question, I would just like to give people, let's say biomedical science, most of us here are familiar with terms like biochemistry, microbiology, understand? But then most are not familiar with biomedical science. Let's say for Gam-Ind in particular, I am the only student studying biomedical science in Gam-Ind as per my knowledge. And I think the field is too important for it to be just studied by one Gam-Ind student in India. You understand? So biomedical science encompasses all these fields of microbiology, biochemistry, and all the, let's say, laboratory technology. It encompasses all these things. You understand? So, but then mostly when people hear about biomedical science, it's like the two things that click your mind is biology and then medicine. So the field integrates these two things. So it's basically the biology that deals with humans, specifically. Biology is general, all living things. But then biomedical is specific to human beings. Understand? So that's the brief definition of it. But in a general sense, all of these fields, wherein the techniques of those fields can be referred back to humans, and then can benefit humans. You understand? For example, even tech, or even let's say biophysics, where physics will come into play. All these biomedical goes into all of them. Fields like let's say biomedical engineering techniques will be all into it. So that's a brief overview of biomedical science and the scope of it. You understand? So, but then in terms of the Gambia, the relevance of this field there. So in the Gambian context, the biomedical encompassing medical research, laboratory technology, you have public health is part of it, biotechnology is part of it. So these are, all these fields, these four fields are part of the biomedical. So also when you look at biomedical science is the backbone of medical research. All the information out there, the data out there, understand? The expertise out there, the nurses, the doctors, the information they use to diagnose people, to prepare medicines, understand? And then to give the right diagnosis, it is all given by the researchers on the ground who work on these things, and they give the information, feed the information to the nurses and doctors, so that they are able to give people the right things they need, the right medication and the right prescriptions. We also have the professors and the research scientists. So for example, in the Gambia, in medicine, students studying medicine in the Gambia, most of their professors come from other countries to come and then teach our students here. So the reason for that is that we don't have enough experts in the biomedicals. We need to have experts in, let's say, biochemistry, microbiology, pathology. If we have enough experts and professors in these fields, we would not need to bring professors from outside the Gambia. The UTG, as per my knowledge, is not offering biomedical science, it's just biology. And then the biology there, especially for us who have studied science in high school, the biology in high school focuses more on other organisms than the human being itself. But we understand that the context is that the curriculum was designed decades ago, where advancement in human studies was not that much. So you study these organisms and then relate back to the human being. So that should be removed in such a way there will be more focus on the human being. Organisms like amoeba and parasitism are not going to benefit us nowadays. We need to focus more on the human being. That's an important factor there. So, in short, biomedical science is the research backbone there. If we want advancement in health, if we want proper diagnosis, prescriptions, medicines, health in general in the Gambia, we need to buttress upon the field, introduce the field there, have professors graduated in research scientists and all that.
So as you see, the panel is very, very interesting. When they talk about STEM, this is what we mean. As you rightly say...
Sorry. I don't want to...
As Suleiman rightly said, biomedical science embodies all the other sciences. So medicine, biochemistry, all are under his umbrella. And then, like what he says, you also made mention of lack of expertise. Like when we talk of STEM, there is always lack of expertise in the Gambia. We will choose some, when we want to construct, let's say a high-rise building, we give contracts to foreigners. So this is due to lack of expertise. So now I'll move to the next panelist, that is Mr. Seri Jete. Your question will be, Mr. Seri, what do you think is the reason behind youth unemployment in STEM in the Gambia?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Seri Jete, a graduate of management from Punjab. Before I delve into discussion proper, I would like to analyze briefly the population of our country. If you look at the Gambia, the current population of the Gambia is quite huge. So if you look at that, 50% of our population are youth. So meaning Gambia is a youthful population. Understand? So the government of the Gambia, at least, if they can't invest 60% of its annual budget on youth, at least 40-30 should be spent on them, because they are the majority. Okay, so briefly explain the meaning of unemployment. Unemployment simply refers to a small number of people that are willing, they are capable to work, but they can't find a job. That is unemployment. So the causes of unemployment in the Gambia are too many. We can talk about them from today to tomorrow. We will not be able to finish. But I will just briefly explain a few. To start with, we have unmatched between education and market creation. The kind of education that we currently have in the Gambia does not supply labor force to the country. Right now, Gambia, we need engineers, a lot of them. We need contractors. Understand? We need carpenters. You understand? So all those things are skills in which the government of the Gambia has to invest and formulate good policies, which are going to help a lot of Gambians to gain skills in which even if they are not able to find employment, they will be able to employ themselves. So I think the government of the Gambia has to change the education system entirely and focus on training youths in which they will be able to provide employment to themselves without looking for employers. So the second thing which I would like to talk about is the access to capital. There are a lot of people in the Gambia currently that have entrepreneurship ideas, skills. But the government of the Gambia is not providing loan grants to start up. Like, let's take India as an example. India, they have a policy of supporting startup. They will give you loan with zero interest. In some cases, they even give grants. So the people that have this business idea, they will just ask them to present a visible business idea. So the government will spend on them. In return, they would employ hundreds of people. So I think the government of the Gambia should also put into consideration and provide finances to people that are willing to set up their own businesses. The third one which I have here is lack of entrepreneurship skills. Lack of entrepreneurship skills. In the Gambia, each and every one of us, if you should ask us here, we will say, I will be willing to work for the government in order to employ myself. Our educational system is not producing employers, but it is producing employees. So the government of the Gambia has to put that into consideration. Produce a lot of employers instead of producing a lot of employees. If you go to UTD is producing hundreds of people. They are sitting at home. If you go to MDR, the same. If you go to Gambia, the same. So the government has to work on that. Thank you.
before that, one can also say the government might argue we cannot give employment to everyone. So the thing is, like, we the youth also tend to have this mindset that, okay, I have to just work for the government. Like, what can I do for the government? Not only what can the government do. So that brings me to the next question. That will be then can use themselves in employment perspective.
As a graduate, you should not just sit back and say, I am unable to find job. If you are indeed well educated. So I think the youth, they need to engage themselves into a lot of enterprise activities without relying on government. See, let's look at the developed countries in the world. Majority of them, their youths are being employed by private sector, not the government. So if we want to develop as a nation, we should not focus on government job. We should take the responsibility as a citizen. Two, you have to upskill yourself. You should not say, I am just a graduate, I have MBA, or I have BBA degree. So you should not just only sit at home and you said, I'm a graduate, I don't have a job. You have to go and upskill yourself. Like the coming of AI. Let's take an example. If Mr. Fati and I are management graduates, we all get CGPA of 4 points. But Fati happens to have communication skills. And we both apply the same job. Fati will have higher chance of being employed because he has soft skills, which is very, very important in management. The fifth one, which I would also like to just quickly elaborate on, will be the youth themselves have to find ways. If government is not providing loans or grants to India, most of their businesses are family business. If you have a business idea, go to your uncle, go to your brother, go to your neighbor. So present your business plan for them. If it makes sense, you will be able to invest into your business, and eventually you will be able to employ yourself and employ others.
As you know, employment is a diverse topic, so if you want to go into it, just into it deeply, we cannot finish it. Now, that takes me to my right. Maybe one might ask, why am I asking this side first and then this side? We have expert, and these people are cybersecurity guys. Absolutely. So, they create, and then I don't know how they even call it. It's like my dollar people who don't differentiate between invention and discover. So, I will start with Dennis first. Dennis is Asia. Your question will be, what systematic barriers continue to hold women back in tech, and what bold sustainable action can be taken to ensure girls and women not only enter but thrive and lead in the next wave of STEM transformation?
As you said, my name is Asia Jima. So the question is, what about women and about to me, I believe that there are some outdated stereotypes that are holding a lot of women back. If you want to be in STEM, the thing is that you are a girl, you should not go there. 90% of the people there are men, so you should not be there. Let's take engineering for example. If you enter a class that have engineering, civil engineering, or aeronautical engineering, or electrical communication engineering, you will see that there are less girls there. And that's because of cultural outdated stereotypes, right? Yes. Let me say that an example with myself. When I was in JS, I think, I wanted to study chemical engineering. But my parents were always saying that, Asia, you are a girl. This is main course. That's the thing. The society keep taking girls back and telling them that this is not your thing. You are not supposed to do it. And that's what is holding us back. And while growing up, you hardly see mentors or leaders, women leaders in tech. At least maybe when you see that this is a leader and she's well known for being in tech, or she's a successful engineer, or a successful mathematician or something, like, you'll be like, yeah, I think I can go into this field of study because I can see a lot of women there. But when you did not see one, you'd be like, yeah, I think so, let me not go there. There are some certain times that even if you enter the class and you realize that I'm the only two of us girls, you feel demotivated and just say, no, I'm just quitting. Let me just go to where girls are, medical stuff like that. But I think women have a lot of role to play in STEM, in engineering, and they can try much more. And the other barriers that we have, I think, are biases. There is no equality. Maybe funding, giving opportunity to girls in workplace. Even when giving employment, you feel like, oh, this is your woman, no, let's not take her. So that inequalities are things that are drawing women and girls who are thinking that even if I go into this field, I won't be able to do what people will maybe benefit from. So the solutions that I think to this early stage education and orientation supports girls at a very young age that you can do this. Why not? Even if you are the only girl there, no problem, be the first. There is nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and you should go into the field. And the other thing I actually talk about, I think, among the barriers is, I think I was I'm sorry. Yeah, there should be mentorship. There should be mentorship to girls so that they will be okay. And there should be communities too. There are a lot of girls communities, I think, African girls in Cyber Safe, which is funded by Cyber Girls, a foundation for Cyber Safe. And that is a very good example. The founder of this Cyber Safe is a woman leader, and she has thrived in cybersecurity very well. So it will be an example to us girls that we can go and do a lot of things over here, right? And these communities will serve the funding and giving opportunities. The government should look at girls, okay, whether you are giving employment, don't say that this is a girl, give her equal rights to, so that she have a lot of things to do, right? That's why I think that's what the question.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Asia. Seriously mentioned, these are challenges. Like, we are set back by our customs and norms. You know, in our society, we used to hear, this is a lady, so she's just a housewife and all those things. So I think she made mention of very, very important points. As someone coming from the engineering university, the code of civil engineering, only 5 ladies there. Mechanical engineering, hardly will you even see a lady there. So I think we need to encourage ladies to venture more into STEM. And that's why now we have initiatives like WeSTEM, Women in STEM. So they are trying to empower women so that they will also be part of development. I think if men can do it, women can also do it. Absolutely. Now this takes me to our next panelist, that is Mr. Emel Wage. Emel Wage, my question to you, sir, is how can the youth transform today's global cyber challenges into opportunities for innovation, employment, and entrepreneurs?
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is and I will go on straight to my if I get you right, like you started by saying that the challenges that we face is that face cybersecurity right now. So there are a lot of challenges here, and these challenges pose a lot of risk to various fields, not just in tech, even in everything is negative nowadays. The hackers, they don't leave anything. For example, if you're trying to attack a country, for example, in a cyber war, a country will try to reach you in all ways. He's not just going to attack the banks and all that. That is very, those are very good. They are not done mostly now. Now what people do is they attack health service. They disable everything and places start. So if you see that, like the risks are like on end, like there are a lot of risks. It's going to be a lot of risks because everything is connected now. And if it's connected, that means it's going to be that's it. So now, there are a lot of ways that you can create opportunities. Like you can use, like, if there's a risk, the risk can come with opportunities if you know how to navigate about that. For example, let's say, let's say if there's a risk, we have this thing. Now, let's say we have a risk, you come up with an innovation for it. I will take example from my own thesis, a research work that I did at the bachelor's level, which is using AI to solve fixing the data of data source constraint environment. Basically for places with very limited resources. That is where I based my research thesis on. So that is innovation. So I feel like there are students who can come up with such very important research work, and they have works backing them. Like they have, it actually works. So if they have the right funding, this is innovation. It's not just me. There are a lot of people, especially in my department, who came up with AI systems that can tackle this kind of problem. The reason I based mine in resource control environment was I was about and there are a lot of people who have had this, especially from banks. Because most of the times, all these start from a phishing account.
Blue type C. Blue type C, Bila.
So if we have systems that can detect this beforehand, it is very, very it means that there will be a job market now. There's a big job and there's a big demand for cybersecurity in the world right now. So this risk comes with a lot of this employment opportunities. So if we can, have youth go into cybersecurity or any other STEM field. Well, I'm basing mine on cybersecurity right now.
Absolutely.
So if you have youth who are equipped with the right knowledge, tools, and then funding, they can come up with a lot of these things.
Innovations.
They can come up with innovation, and also they will take the job these things that are there, the openings that are there. Also, it can open opportunity for entrepreneurs. Like you can come up with a tool. Okay, now let's say I want to start a cybersecurity firm. That is entrepreneur. That is my own business. So that is another opportunity that it can open up for you and all that. So now, the only thing is now if you have the right knowledge and then the right funding and everything, the right resources with the youth, I think they can do a lot in the cybersecurity, regardless of what kind of risks and threats are coming in. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Emelwage. As you all hear, cybersecurity guys, nowadays we are exposed to a lot of risks. You will see people saying they scam me. Someone will just send a link, you click it, and then, of course, now they scam you. And then you have a lot of fake apps and all those things. So as he rightly say, wheresoever there's a threat, there's also an opportunity for the youth. So they try to exploit those opportunities. And then he made mention of also the innovation, coming up with ideas, and then his final thesis. And then the other thing is like employment. Like the youths can venture into cybersecurity firms, whereby you establish your own firms, protecting businesses, banks, and all related stuff. So this brings me now to our next panelist, which is Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel, the question is, how can STEM, including fields like cybersecurity and AI, be used to solve real-life problems to understand communities?
Yeah. Thank you so much. For those who have come in, my name is Daniel Ochemonyango. I am from Kenya and recently graduated with a BSc in cybersecurity and forensics. Dealing with his question, I want us to first understand that 70% of us in Africa are young people, right? But out of the 70%, we have a population of 25% who are under STEM, right? But this 25% of these youths either are untrained or they don't have a job, right? But look, if we are able to integrate these, is it what?
Yes. Yeah, you can continue.
Just to continue.
Of course.
So the question was, I was just giving you a start on how Africa is as we speak today. So how are we able to integrate cybersecurity, AI, all that into helping our young people or our communities in Africa? One, if you look at the health sector, there is a lot that is needed. For example, we can use artificial intelligence with the rightful knowledge or with the rightful equipment and the necessary funding, one, to help doctors access data records from some village somewhere in Gambia or somewhere in Kenya, and they're able to easily get them and be able to understand that this person A and B is suffering from this kind of pattern of diseases. Using this kind of models, they're able to understand and be able to predict or be able to understand that, okay, in this kind of region, these people are affected with this kind of disease. Through that, it becomes easy. And it helps it's one of the ways that we're able to help ourselves and our populations in Africa. Coming to the financial sector, cybersecurity plays a big role here, as my brother has spoken about it. If you look at Africa today, we have a lot of attacks, especially in areas financial, because it's an emerging field. So the cyber criminals have gotten a loop. They have understood that, okay, most of our Africans, most of our mothers in the villages there, don't understand what cybersecurity is. They don't understand what this kind of technologies are. And you find out that, yes, mobile money banking is now very rampant in Africa. Today you see that everyone is using mobile money. Like, we're able to transfer money from point A to point B. So that leaves us with a big problem. If it's not addressed, that's why you see that every single day, at least someone is scammed. Every single day, at least someone has a problem. Either ways, they've told them any sort of thing, and then they are getting losses out of it. So what can we do with cybersecurity? One, create awareness. Let these financial institutions be able to come up and be able to help these populations by integrating and creating awareness and telling people like, hey, you know what? There are cyber crimes, there is phishing, and you can be frauded online. So can you be aware? Can you be aware that if you're using mobile money, don't just trust anyone. Be sure to use or be sure to click what you have to click. Just don't click anything. That way, we're able to solve that problem financially in the financial institutions. Coming to solving the issue of how then do we help Africans, or how do we help our youths into getting to these STEM fields? One, I believe in social inclusion, and I believe that as a community which is broad-based, I believe that Africans now, we should be able to integrate this kind of systems or this kind of syllabuses or this kind of topics in our institutions. I will tell you for free where I come from. In Kenya, cybersecurity as a course, no university takes it. They're always doing computer science and information systems. So having cybersecurity as it's a specialized course is not done. That's why we come here. So what about if we go back and be like, hey, can we have cybersecurity as a course on its own? One, it will help to enable most of the young people in STEM specifically to be able to understand the core values of one. How do these attacks come? How are we able to address them? And what are the mitigation strategies? And two, coming to artificial intelligence, as we speak today in Africa, we have around 1,000. It's projected that over 40 billion US dollars in in artificial intelligence projects, strategies. But to your surprise, we only have one AI farm in Africa. That leaves us with a lot of gap, which needs to be filled up, right? So lastly, to just end up my discussion, we need to create more awareness. We need to go out there. Everyone in STEM, whatever field you are in, you can create an influence. You can be influential in whatever aspect of life you can. By one, just advising, one, just telling someone that, hey guys, you know what? We can work together. We can encourage someone to get into this field. Because today, if we are able to enter and be able to be part of it, In future, we are going to shape it. We are going to shape the world of science, technology, and mathematics in Africa. I believe with these genius minds around us, we can do a lot of great things together. So I thank you. If there is any questions.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Daniel, for that. As he rightly mentioned, he touched on different aspects. Like we have AI. I think if I say ChatGPT, I will see the faces getting brightened. And then many people tend to have this fear that AI comes to take our jobs, you know. But the thing is, with technology, we advance with it. So if you look at science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, especially in the engineering field, someone coming from a civil engineering background, we can see in India, like maybe in 20 years ago, there was no metro. Now they have metro system. They have high-rise buildings. If you look at their railway system, it's marvelous. The first world country. So I think Africa, these are some of the things that we need to emulate. So integrating STEM in our education curriculum, I think, and then the government drafting policies. Because even Mohas, if I remember in 2018, like 2/3 of their policies was focused on STEM. So I think this is a very exciting topic. If you want to go, we will continue here throughout the day. So now what I will do, I might open I will open questions to the floor. I will like you guys to ask us questions, but we will, due to time constraint, we will only take 2 questions from the audience. Oh, okay then. Okay, if the okay, I think we have 1 question from Abubakar.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah,
Everyone. I think I will focus on the cyber aspect, like or even the technology advancement. If you see Africa, we are behind, and let's say Europe right now, they are 10 ahead of us. The cyber security in Africa right now, we can say maybe it's 5% awareness that is, but in Europe it is advancing and technology is advancing. So I think there is a way, or my question will be, what will our governments, like say in Africa generally, to make sure that we are aligned with this technology, so that we will not lag behind. Let's say these cyber things. Europe have been studying it maybe for the last decade, but we just 5 years back or maybe 2 years back, Africa is been these things is being aware in Africa. So how or what would our government do so that we will be aware and we will be aligned with the advancement of technology? Because every day technology is advancing. So if you are not advancing with the technology, then these people will succeed in, let's say, in 20 years before you reach there. So how will our government make sure that we align with this technology so that we will not, wait for a decade to get advanced, to get a level where these people have already reached?
So just to answer your question.
Summarize it.
Yeah. Governments in Africa, one biggest challenge, just to be quick. Whoever people are in those government positions now, I would say they don't have the ideas on what is happening now. So what I would advise, or what I think they should do is, one, you see these minds, these small, great minds. What about if they integrate, because we are so vicious, we are so visionary. What about if they're able to integrate our skill set into their systems? Because we are the change makers. We are the people who are going to change and make things work, right? Give us that opportunity, create awareness, or give us that opportunity and create policies. Because we know what we are learning in this current world. If we go back to our countries, let them not sideline us, but rather give us an opportunity to showcase what we have gotten and give it to other people so that we can grow together. I believe that would make a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, just to add on to what my colleague here said, he spoke about awareness. The next thing that the government can do is collaboration with other countries, understand, that are ahead of us in tech. Collaborate, create policies You create your own policies, not just depend on the policies that they have, all that. And then you make sure in those collaborations, you make sure that you are data sovereign. You don't depend on them for everything. You don't give them your data to protect it for you. You become data sovereign. You become weak for them. Like they can do anything to you at any time because they have every information about you. So you can collaborate with them. At the same time, you make sure that you are data sovereign. You don't go beyond that. And yeah, like he said, the world is moving very fast. Innovation is happening very fast. But like while we innovate, we have to also make sure that we assess the risks that come with innovations. For example, I'm going to be a little bit technical because I'm more of a technical guy than just speaking. So this is what happens. Let's take quantum computing for example. It has come upon us. Quantum computing, it's very good. Like it can solve a lot of issues that are happening in the world right now. But at the same time, if it falls into the wrong hands, it can do a lot of damage, especially in the cybersecurity field. So this is what happens. For example, let's take encryption for example. When you send a data between you and someone, the data is encrypted. Sometimes you see it. So that encryption, there are keys. The person sending the data encrypts the data and is sent to the right recipient. The right recipient got the key to access that data. So this is what happens. Cybersecurity criminals, if they have access to quantum computing, this is what they will do. They will use mathematical calculation, the mathematical power of quantum computing to break those security, like to break those encryption keys. Because encryption is based on the complexity of the mathematical calculations that are there. So this is what happens. It takes large number, very large numbers, and it takes the primes of their factors, and then from that, it is where the encryption keys come from. You understand? So if we use our normal computers, it might take thousands of years to break that. But with quantum computing, it can break it in just a few minutes, depending on how complex that mathematical equation is. So for this one, I think NIST just recently came out with a solution for it. They have developed PQCs, post-quantum cryptographic algorithms. So those ones are very much, you can't use quantum computing to break those ones. They are very much strong against the quantum computing. So that is one of the things. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I'm seeing people raising their hands, and then the MC is telling me it's already time. So, okay, I will take one more question. I think I will take it from the lady at the back. Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon. My question is going to you asking. So, what advice can you give to girls that are willing to go into tech and the girls that are already into tech?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, summarize, please. Time.
So the advice is very simple. If you are into tech, just participate in everything. Tell yourself that you can do it like how any other person do it, like how the boys do it.
Absolutely.
Just do it. That's so simple. And maybe the available courses that are online, you can go into them. Have the skills. That's what is much more important. It's not just about studying it or having the skills. With that, you'll be able to have your startup, be entrepreneur yourself. Skills is what matters rather than the other things. So just go there and try. That's so simple.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Asia, for that answer. I think what we learned from 30 seconds. It seems people want to ask more questions and answers also. Okay, I think I will take the last question because due to time constraint. Okay. I think you can do a combined question and then both of you, then we will see how best we can answer it. Yes. Yeah.
You know, we work in the tech sector. I work as a network admin at Banyu City Council.
Okay.
So we have a lot of problems when it comes to managing informations, managing active directories. So what are some of the recommendations that you can give as a network admin? What are some of the advice you can give? Because there are a lot of cyber cases. So what do you think is, as a network admin, what can I do to be able to prevent my company from threat?
No, if you can summarize.
Okay, that's a very important question, and it's very good. So, as a network admin, I will advise you to equip yourself with the right skills right now. Tech is it's growing at a very fast rate. It is changing every day. Like every day, new threats are discovered. Every day, new attacks are coming into picture. So you have to be in the same line with it. Like as it moves, as it advances, you also advance with it to be able to protect your device. You want to?
No, it's okay. Relax. No, it's okay. Let's just yeah. I think we'll take our final question due to time constraint and
Okay, so I'll just go to the cybersecurity guys. So like as a health personnel, so as a health personnel, one of the problems we do face, like when it comes to the patient, is getting data from them. So like, and the data that they are giving us, like, it's more like personal that you said between them and the healthcare personnel. Now moving into like more of digital now, one of the problems we do face, like how secure can our like information that we give can be when it is like being stored in the computer or is in the internet now. So as a cybersecurity guy, what guarantees can you give me that I can like portray to my patients that there's information that they are giving to me if I put it like up there in the internet, like it's being secured?
Just summarize it first.
Okay, thank you. You asked a very important question. That one, it will. I think that will come to the policies that your particular hospital follows. For example, there are a lot of policies that are out there. There is PII. There's HIPAA that deals with your health, getting control of the PII, personally identified information of patients and all that. HIPAA. So if your hospital actually follows those policies, I think everything should be okay. Like you want to
just summarize it.
And also, I think
Absolutely. Thank you so very much to my panelists and to you, the audience. As we heard, we've learned a lot from this panel. And then most of them were also putting emphasis on our African government should set up policies that will be in line with the advancement that is taking place in the world. I think with that, my panelists, they done justice to the subject, to the topic. So thank you so very much. Bye-bye till next time. Oh.
That's my radio. That's my radio. So the one thing I wanna say, if I do you, I will be a radio. You wanna love you, you are my master, baby, you're my master. I'm coming to you, I go there. Oh, you got
Saya mau sama Express. Vou morrer, saya mau sama Express.
Like a specific grip.
Second song we want to go back.
What's that? No, please. I would have to thank these people first before inviting any cultural. Can you do it? You were part of the panelists. I don't think you were.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Or you can talk while they do that.
The thing is,
Yeah. Hey. But then har saya mau summarize ba pare.
so how am I
Har
going
saya mau
to
ba pare.
How am I going to introduce that? How am I going to introduce Thank you so much for your patience. Before going forward to invite the cultural team, I'll first Before going ahead to invite our cultural team, I'll first love to thank our panelists about the important discussion they had earlier. They talked about how youths can use STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, to build a better future for themselves and for the country at large. So with that, the next thing we have on our agenda is the cultural display. So we want to welcome our cultural team for them to do a miming display for us. So can we have you all on stage, please?
Yes. We'll have more of culture.
Hey, King, tama jenar po. Yeah. Okay, go. Inyo di. All go inyo. Kare. Kare. Are you di? Very cultural.
Okay, let's give a round of applause for the next culture to come up on stage, please.
Uh, First, I would like to thank the cultural team for their wonderful performance. Next on our agenda, I think it's one of the most anticipated parts because what we have on our agenda is the debate, and I would love to invite the members of this debate. For for the government bench, we have Fatmata Fazi. Can you please be on stage? We have Fatmata Fati, myself, Farifei, Mamadou Esba, and Abdullah Bao. On the opposition side, we have Mr. David S. Jiba, we have Aida Bella, we have Mfansu Mane, and Babukar Sonko. Can you all please be on stage? And then allow me to warmly welcome Mr. Mudo Lewis as he will be moderating this debate. Thank you.
No. su ma leen ooyee da ngeen a dem si podium bi mooy lan opposition bench. Assalamu alaikum, a warm greetings to you all. I am Modu Lewis and I'll be moderating the debate today. We will be going by the BP style debate. That's why we are organized like this. We have two benches. We have the government bench and the opposition bench. So the topic of today is this house will loosen UTG's admission criteria rather. This house will loosen UTG's admission criteria. Please let me introduce the debaters first. From the government bench, we have the Prime Minister, who is Honorable Fatmata Fati. Then we have the Deputy Prime Minister, who is Honorable Fatufai. Then the closing government, we have the government member, who is Honorable Abdullah Bao. Then the government whip. What? Okay, sorry for that. The government member will be Miss Honorable Momodu Esba, and the government whip will be Honorable Abdullah Bao. Then on the opposition bench, we have the opposition leader, who is David S. Jiva, the deputy opposition leader, who is Aida, the opposition member, who is Fansu. Huh? Yeah, you do the government whip too. Okay, so we are going to start the debate now. We'll start by the government bench. Please, the Prime Minister, if you are ready, we are set to hear from you. It's working. Speak closer to it. Please, before you start, can I say something? Yeah, as the rule states, you have time for 7 minutes. The first 1 minute, you cannot take a POI, it's a protected time. The first 1 minute and the last minute. So you can take POI between the 5 minutes. Thank you.
Education is the bedrock of national development, and yet in the Gambia, thousands of qualified minds are left knocking on the doors of UTG, only to be turned away not because of lack of potential, but because of rigid admission criteria that fail to account for the systematic inequalities. Honorable Speaker of the House, moderator, my worthy opponents, and valued audience. Before getting into the debate, I would like to lay down the structure of my debate. First, I'm going to remind the House about the motion, define the key terms, give my substantive argument, pre-rebut one of the points of the opposition, summarize, then in summary, I will conclude. Mind you, I'm not going to take any POI from any opponent. To remind the House about the motion, this House would loosen UTG's admission criteria. Now to define the key terms, UTG stands for University of the Gambia, a sole public university in the Gambia established in 1999, offering undergraduate and graduate programs in the Gambia. Another word we have is losing, is to modify admission criteria to make it more flexible and inclusive for students. Then another phrase we have is admission criteria, which is current requirement for UTG's enrollment, including WAS and some pre-exams for some of the courses in UTGs like law and medicine. Now, to get into the substantive argument of my debate today, let me educate you a little, Honorable House and my worthy opponents. First point that I have is low quality education in the rural areas. UTG's current criteria punish rural students for a system they didn't create. Loosening standards isn't about charity, it's about correcting injustice. In the Gambia, a survey done by MOPSI states that rural students score 30% lower on WAS exams than urban peers, in which they have the same IQ level and the same potential to be where they are. So the alternative to the, in my capacity as the government, as the Prime Minister of this debate, my government, we have put an alternative to it, that since we are giving allowances to those teachers who are in the rural area, still we are going to increase their allowances so that there can be more qualified teachers in the rural area who is going to help students get to where they are. Another thing is, my second point is, traditional metrics do not accurately reflect potential. Admission to UTG heavily relies on WAS course and a narrow academic profile. But we must ask, do high grades always equate to capabilities, credibility, and leadership? So loosening admission criteria would allow for alternative evaluations such as vocational training background, aptitude interviews, which will better reflect real-world potential and resilience. A survey which was conducted by Forbes in 2023 stated that 60% of Fortune 500 CEOs did not go to elite universities. Many attended public colleges. Those are the 2 points that I'm going to give. To pre-rebut one of the points of the opposition, I know my oppositions might come here and say like quality and standard of education in UTG is going to be losing. But mind you, examination is not the best way to test someone's knowledge. Okay. Now to summarize, I have reminded the House about the motion, define the key terms, give my valid points, pre-rebuts, and then to conclude with, today we stand in a firm preposition of this motion, arguing that loosening UTG's admission criteria standard is not just an act of fairness, but a necessary step toward inclusivity, economic development, and national development. This motion is not about lowering standards, it's about raising opportunities for the less privileged people who are living in the rural area and those who are in the Gambia. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. If the House is set.
Yeah. First of all, before going further, I'd just like to give you the structure of my debate. I'll commence by pre-reporting some of the baseless points brought forward by the government bench. I'll then continue to give you 3 solid points on why the curriculum of the university should not be loosened. And then I'll summarize, after which I'll conclude. First of all, the government bench came here, gave key terms, told us the criterias, In fact, did they tell us the criteria? You told us there's a criteria for admission. We didn't know what the criteria were. What are we loosening? The government bench came here to talk about loosening, and he said the loosening doesn't mean, he said loosening means to modify and make something more flexible.
Protected time is over.
Loosening doesn't mean to modify, it makes to make something less strict. So that the definition of that key term is not really, and you didn't give me a source of that definition. You also told me there's injustice. You said injustice. You said there would be injustice because the rural areas have less qualified teachers. Injustice is not corrected from the university level. It's corrected from the root. If it is to be corrected, it's not in loosening the university standard. It's coming back to the root. And then you talk about how examination is not the best way to test someone's knowledge. What is? Mr. Speaker, we in this opposition, we do not believe that loosening the admission criteria is actually a step forward for the Gambia. We actually believe that this is a step to academic decline. It's an institutional crisis and it's a national regress. Now, I'll take you first to my point, the first point. You rebutted the first point that I have talking about how standards, I'll come here to talk about how standards and loosening it is going to reduce our standards. Mentioning the point is not rebutting the point. You mentioned the point. What about it is wrong? The standards of the university, if you decrease the standards of the university, first of all, the admission standards are already there. Every country, every household has a standard. The standard ensures livelihood in the people who live with it. The standards ensure that the people who come from the university are ready to be in the public. Now, if you loosen this, if you lower this criteria, you admit students, you admit people who lack the academic foundation, you admit people who are not in the capacity to cope with the system. Is this the best way we intend to put our country forward? And evidence from the UTG's internal academic review in 2022 showed that with marginal worse passes, the people who had marginal worse passes had a dropout rate of about 43% in the science and engineering programs. And this is from, the source of this is from the University of the Gambia's academic report in 2022. So what does this tell? It tells us that relaxing this criteria does not promote success. Instead, it just leads to frustration, it leads to dropouts, and it leads to wasted resources, most of all. This brings me to my second argument. That's what I just said. The problem is not at the university. The problem is before the university. So the UTG is not the source of inequality. The real crisis is at the senior school level. If you even gave me a point to talk about how we should equip the teachers at the rural areas, that's something against you. If you're trying to loosen the criteria, why are you mentioning the teachers in secondary school? This brings me down to my third point, Mr. Speaker, that says, we will damage the UTG's reputation on an international standard. People who go to university, for one, are not just there to be able to work within the country. You're there that when somebody else from an international level comes to you, he sees the potential in you. He sees that, okay, what you've gone through is enough to make you viable to work in a position that he has. So if you loosen this, the national credibility is degraded. So when we weaken this admission, we weaken the perception of the UTG. The employers begin to doubt. Employers who admit people from the UTG, they doubt the competence of our graduates. The international partners begin to question the legitimacy of our system. Is this really what we intend for our country? Mr. Speaker, I'll just summarize some of the points. I'll give you an example. For example, in 2023, the UTG School of Medicine delayed over 120 final year students due to lab shortages. Even those who are qualified, we have a problem funding them. Why are we willing to overcrowd our universities and give everybody that opportunity to be there with those who are qualified? Yes, they're Gambians, but they must qualify first. Everybody must qualify for a position before you're put into it. Mr. Speaker, this now brings me to the summary of, I came before the House, I pre-reported some of the points brought forward by the government bench. I gave you 3 solid points, after which I will conclude. In conclusion, I would say, so we do not oppose access, right? We do not oppose shortcuts. And the UTG must not become a victim of this populist decision. For that's to say, it must stand as a bastion of excellence. Producing leaders, we are trying to produce leaders. We're not just trying to produce attendees. We don't want people to come from the university as people who attended university. We want people who are ready to serve a role. With this, I would say thank you. Thank you to everyone here, and I'll call on to the next speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Opposition Leader. If the House is set, we would like to hear from the Deputy Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my warm greetings to you all. Let's start with the truth first. In 2023, over 65% of WAS candidates in the Gambia failed to get 5 credits, including math and English, reported by Amadou Ba of the Standard newspaper. That's not just statistics, that's a wall that is keeping thousands of young Gambians out of their own national university. And we ask, is the UTG a university for the elite few or a university of the Gambia? I rise today as the Deputy Prime Minister to strongly affirm this motion, not because we want to make UTG easy, no, we want to make it fair. Loosening UTG's admissions criteria means giving smart, hardworking, and passionate young Gambians the chance they have always deserved, but they were never given. We are here to widen the gate and not to lower the bar. Before proceeding for free lectures, I'll first give the structure of my debate. I'll start by restating the motion, which was probably...
time is over.
I'll start by restating the motion, which was probably tabled by my able minister. Move ahead to rebut the fallacies brought forward by the opposition leader. Strengthening the point of my able prime minister. Give my own success point, definitely not accepting any POI. After which I shall summarize and conclude. So the motion before this house says this house will loosen UTG's admissions criteria. And now, to the rebuttals. We pre-reported quality and standards, and it was not just mentioned, it was pre-reported. That shows how unprepared you are, because I believe if you were prepared, you would have brought in another point far from what we've mentioned. Even though it was mentioned, even if it was mentioned without being pre-reported, it should be out of your points. That should not be brought up. Also, you talk about reputation. What reputation are you talking about? The reputation of what UTG? The UTG, let me not even talk about world ranking. Let's talk about the ranking in Africa. UTG is ranking 312 out of 355 in Africa. For the world, let me not even talk about it because they're in 6,000 out of 6,000. And you're talking about reputation. What are we maintaining? You're taking in students, you claim that they are good. And those students, by far, they are not even raising the UTG standards in any way. So how sure are you that the students that you did not admit are the right people who are going to raise the quality of UTG? This will now lead me to the strengthening of my Prime Minister's point. Her first point was low quality education in rural areas. Let us be real here. How do we expect to compare a student from Basse who does not even have access to standard labs, no qualified teachers, qualified math or English teachers, to students who are in top schools in Serekunda? According to a 2021 report by the Chronicle Gambia, over 60% of rural schools don't have basic lab equipment. In some places, one teacher is teaching 60 students or even more, which was reported by Seni MK Marina, the Chronicle. That's not a classroom, that's a survival zone. So let's stop pretending that WAS is just some fair or perfect system. It does not even measure intelligence. It more measures like the privilege. As the saying goes, you cannot test the depth of the well by a single stone. So one exam can reveal the true potential of a student, especially a student who is struggling with a system just to stay in school. To her second point, which was traditional methods do not reflect true potential. Let's get real here. A credit in math does not mean that you're going to be a good engineer in the future. Nor does a credit in English means that you're going to be a good journalist in the future. In fact, a UNESCO study of the African education system found that over 50% of successful university students alternative entry programs have previously failed or underperformed in standardized. This was reported by SFK Ture in the UNESCO Africa Report 2023. What does that tell us? Grade does not tell everything. Some students bloom late. Some students thrive in different learning styles, while some students have a bad year. So why should we base on this rigid metrics just to hide all the Potential doesn't always look like it. Sometimes it's a second chance, and if you to be the place that gives you. This will now lead me to my personal point. My first point is requiring English and maths credit for all programs. Right now, to get into the UTD, one must get credit in both English and maths. Why does a brilliant literature student we went through a brilliant literature student be denied a journalism program just because he or she does not get a credit in math? Or an artistic genius be denied a course in fine arts just because he or she does not get credit in English? In 2022, 15,360 candidates sat the was in the Gambia, but only 605 students, just 3.94%, obtained 5 credits, including both English and math. This was reported by Amaduba of the Standard newspaper. So let's go with that day. 14,700 students did not make the cut. 14,000. Of the Gambia student, or is it that UGD should start recognizing potential over performance? And our alternative to this problem is we would love to implement an entrance exam where students will be tested based on their interest and passion and not based on mere high school results. To my final point, which is lack of academic flexibility, which is another unfair practice. Students from the arts and the commerce are not allowed to do science courses in the university, even if they are willing to do it. So if you study government and economics in Gambia, forget about being a doctor or engineer. Even if you later discover your passion and have the drive. A report in foreign newspapers reported that only 7% of UTB students change their field after admission, likely because the system does not allow responsibility. Our question is, since when does a 16-year-old high school tuition determine the rest of their life? People interest change. If UTG cannot accommodate that, then that's not a university, it's a team. This will now lead me to the summary of my point. I came before this house, remember the houses in motion, rebutted the point of the opposition leader, strengthened the point of my able prime minister, gave my personal point, summarized and absolute I shall tell you. However, Speaker, we are not seeking UTG to throw away standards. We're just asking them to widen their doors for the Gambian citizens. Because right now, the doors are only open to the privileged few, who beat the odds of the system that kills thousands of students every year. If only Thank you, sir.
If the House accepts, we would like to hear from the Deputy Opposition Leader.
What a senseless government. No wonder parts of the same feather always flew together. Speaker of the House, in my capacity as the Deputy Opposition Leader, please allow me to give the exceptional structure of my debate. First, I will start by reporting the senseless was given by the worst government, in fact, a government without any sense. Trading the points of my brilliant opposition leader, accepted POI, give an alternative. Since all the alternatives they give didn't make any sense, I give 3 valid points backed by facts and statistics, summarized and in summary as the rest my piece. What is the structure of my debate, Honorable Speaker? I said that I will start by reporting the business point of the government measure. In fact, the Prime Minister, you don't deserve to be in your position. First, actually, she came here and she was like, first, she didn't tell us what is the criteria, like what are the university requirements, the requirements to get into the University of the Gambia. She just came here trying to convince this house. Remember, this house consists of intellectuals and not just liberals as yourself. The next time you come here, make sure it makes sense before putting this house in your place. She came and was like, instead of every requirement, nothing into the University of the Gambia, the process of the UTG entry. I mean, come on, you have to come and tell us what is the process of the university entry? What are the requirements you need the university entry and all of that? And she came here speaking about the low quality education. Like, are you for real? What kind of low quality education are you talking about? Like, tell us, what is the low quality education? How is Gambia having a low quality education? Makes sense. Put sense into our head. This is a house of intellectuals, as you can see. So please, next time, make sure you don't come and just give vague statements. And she was talking about loosening the admission, admission criteria, which is about collective justice. Are you for which kind of justice are you talking about? Are you talking about justice here? Doesn't make any sense. And she gave alternatives which are increasing the teachers' allowances in the rural areas. From which money? From which money, Prime Minister? From which money will you be increasing the teachers' allowances? Doesn't make any sense to you. And as my capacity as a deputy opposition leader, this work doesn't start in this house. And the deputy prime minister also came. As I said, parts of the same federal always flew together. She was like 312 UTG. UTG is ranked in the 312 in Africa. I mean, she didn't give us any source. Is it your words? Make sure when you come here, tell us the source of these things. UDG is ranked in the 312 out of Africa. I mean, where, how, we don't know. So please make sure you tell us. And she was also talking about rankings are already low. Rankings are already low, Deputy Prime Minister. The ranking of the University of the Gambia is already low. So which more ranking are you trying to pay? Which more ranking? Doesn't make any sense. As I said earlier, parts of the same federal always free together. Let me not waste my time. Moving on to the straightening of my point of my honorable opposition leader, she came here and talked about standards of the essential standards are essential to student success. And to give her a statistic to strengthen this point any further, she was these statistics were given by UNESCO in 2023 that countries with higher tertiary education standards show better employability rates among graduates for employability rate at 82%, which is attributed to rigorous academic standards and quality assurance. So as you can see, this makes any sense. And as far as I'm concerned, this point starts. And she also talked about the problem is not at the university. The problem is not at the university level. It is at the secondary. It is at the before the university. Like this problem that the UTG is facing, it is not at the university level. This starts in the secondary or in the primary grade. It is at the university. It is before the university. And to further strengthen this point, the UTG's credibility based on the idea that only qualified students are admitted. And to give a statistic to further strengthen this point, it was reported by the Gambia Bureau of Statistics that approximately 68% of the Gambia's tertiary education workforce has emigrated, placing the country among those most affected in the country globally. So moving on to my points, Honorable Speaker. First of my point is a strong visibility requires strong inputs. As you all know, universities are only as good as the students they admit. And lowering admission criteria is like admitting students into a marathon who have never trained. Most will struggle to drop out. Another point is that to further explain this, UTG must remain a merit-based institution. This is the only tertiary institution that the Gambia has. That belongs to the Gambian government. That belongs to their government, as they say. This is the only institution they have. So the UTG must remain a merit-based institution, not a mass access center. To give a statistic to this point, in 2022, only 602 out of 15,360 WAS candidates, that is 3.9%, secured credit passes in 5 credits, including English and Maths. The minimum requirement for the UTG admission. So you can see, another statistic shows that in 2024, Ministry of Education, the fact sheet showed only 7.7% scored credits in 5 credits, including Maths and English. Moving on to my second point, Honorable Speaker, which is it will produce degrees without skills. The paper degree crisis, that is the paper degree crisis, because this will produce degree holders without skills, which is also referred as the paper degree skills. In the Gambia, we already see youth unemployment among graduates. So if UTG lowers the bars, most students will graduate with weak academic foundations. Employers will stop trusting UTG degrees. And employers, they will stop trusting UTG employers. Because how can you just enter a university with 3 credits or 2 credits? So definitely employers will stop trusting UTG degrees. And the job market needs competence, not just certificates. Competence is needed. As we know, to have a work, competence is a very important factor. So the job market needs competence and not just certificates. So to give a statistic to further strengthen that point, between 2015 and 2019, only 45% of the UTG graduates found employment in their first year after graduating, meaning 55 to 60% remained jobless during that crucial period. And in 2019, university study confirmed that 60% of graduates struggle to secure any form of employment soon after leaving university. So you can imagine. Moving on to my time, Honorable Speaker, which is it will harm UTG's national and international reputation. UTG's credibility is based on the idea that only well-qualified students are admitted. So moving on to the alternative, since the government then decided not to come and do justice to the alternatives. First of all, as opposition, the alternatives we are giving to this house is that we create remedial or foundation programs for borderline students. 2, expand distance learning or evening programs. 3, expand vocational and technical education for those not eligible for academic degrees. So to summarize my debate, Honorable Speaker, first I came here to vote the baseless and the senseless point of the senseless government in this entire world, and stating the point of my honorable prime opposition leader. I said I accept the POI, but since I've convinced this entire house and there's no POI, I guess that's it. Give an alternative and give 3 valid points backed by facts and statistics. Summarize and summary as well as my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Opposition Leader. So this concludes the first part of the debate.
as the opening government is concluded. Now we are moving to the second part of the debate, that is the closing government. If the House is set, we would like to hear from the government member or member of the government.
Am I audible? Hello? It is so sad to debate with the people who doesn't understand even the point of it, or who doesn't understand even the topic of the debate. Honorable Speaker, I stand before you here to debate on a point which I will mention. Before going further, Honorable Speaker, I would like to quote here. They say, empty barrel make more noise. This mother stands in front of here saying which kind of words that nobody knows where they came from. Before going further, I would like to give a preview of my views, and here it goes. First of all, I will mention the motion which was played here, which this opposition make noisemakers, which they don't understand at all, which is the motion mentioned the UTG admission. We shouldn't lose the UTG admission criteria, and we said, or which we support the motion. We say we shouldn't lose the UTG admission. Second, I would like to debunk on those points, or on those undigest points that they made, which were all useless, as she always mentioned, because she was mentioning a root word in the debates. And my third point is, I would like to stretch in some of my points, which my government bench made. Then I will make my own points, and then finally make a conclusion. Mr. Speaker, the motion was the UTG admission, or UTG shouldn't lose its criteria, which we said, yes, correct, it shouldn't lose its criteria. And to debunk on what these people say. And to debunk on what these people say, she made mention that we shouldn't lose the reputation of the UTG, which the UTG has no reputation at the moment right now. Because at international level, we cannot in fact locate the UTG at which level are they. So which reputation are we trying to mention in that area? Second, the other opponent said, which is the opposition bench, he made mention of making like not supporting the rural areas in terms of like in terms of their teaching areas, because the UTG believe that like most of these people that are admitted there or that are giving their religion, they are not fit to be in the UTG. And I will tell you one, most of those people that doesn't have the criteria or that doesn't enroll in the or that doesn't meet the UTG criteria are those people that are with talent. He made mention last year, there are many people who graduated in the medical field and was not given even a single place to be. How can you expect of them to have place if there are not other people that can innovate or make something where can create opportunities for others where they can be, and they only depend on the government, and the government cannot do all. We need to have those creative people that can create those opportunities for those other UTG students who are enrolled, so as they can have their own private sectors and make their own labs and create whatever they want, than waiting for the government to provide that space for them. In that case, I believe the UTG should enroll more people, because we believe by enrolling more people, you will have talented people there, you will have innovative people there, you will have creative people there that can able to make their own institution which can help the nation grow. So meaning enrolling more people can help in the development of the nation. So my other point will be like boosting the national development and the labor force. Enrolling more students, give national force, give the rule to have rural development, or in fact the national development as well. Because I have 4 credits, I'm more innovative than the others. We cannot depend UTG standard in WAS level. Many now universities has now gone by WAS level. Countries like Ghana now, they have no more consider their WAS results as UTG or as university university requirement. You must face another exam before going for any university requirement. So we say that, or we show that innovative sometimes is good, as we should not base our university criteria on WAS standard. Because some people are there, they cannot meet the WAS standard, but they are more innovative than those people that are in the WAS standard. Even some of these science, most of these sciences, most of them doesn't go to UTG. The early scientists, most of them doesn't attend any UTG. They were just creating as they can do on their own. We need people like that, who they can attest to everything that we want in the nation. And my last point will be freedom. Access to education is a human right, not a privilege. Mr. Speaker, I would like to quote from our constitution, our own constitution, which says in chapter 4, protection of fundamental rights and freedom. You go to section 30, which says rights to education. And if we put those criteria, then where are those people that cannot meet the criteria? Where is their right, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I would like to further, in the Constitution, there is another section, section 17, if they want those parents that we are making noise, can make a proof of that. And freedom should be given to every citizen of our nation, and those fundamental rights are among education. So who are they to say these people?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good afternoon. I am Sumani, opposition leader. I am here to speak against the motion loosening the admission criteria of the University of the Gambia could have several disadvantages, because we all knew that the Gambia is not blocking. We are not blocking. We only have one university. So loosening the admission criteria of that university has a lot of disadvantages, because number one, admitted students with weak academic background, they reduce the overall quality of education and academic performance. Gambia is not lucky to have several universities like India or other countries. So I think in this juncture, we are not looking for quantity. We are looking for quality of education. Loosening the admission criteria of the University of the Gambia can have strain on lectures. For example, with more students, lecturers may struggle to give individual attentions, affecting teaching and quality student engagement. Another point is higher dropout rates, with losing the quality of education, or quality of losing the students who are not adequately prepared may struggle to cope, learning to increase failures or dropout rates. It may also damage the reputation of the University of the Gambia. The university reputation might suffer if public or employers So they perceive that standards are not being compromised. It may limit limited job preparedness. Graduates admitted on the loose standards may lack essential skills, affecting their employability and productivities in the workforce.
Can you please tell me that reputation that you are whining? Because yet still, I can't be convinced of that reputation you are trying to elaborate.
The repetition I'm trying to emphasize here is Gambia is not looking to have a lot of universities. We are only entitled to have only one. So bringing unqualified students or enrolling students with big grades may mitigate the definition of the University of the Gambia. Because at the moment, the country is not looking for quantity. We are looking for standard. We are looking more into standard and qualified students to be enrolled in the University of the Gambia. Because Gambia is lacking, we lack a lot of merits. We are lacking a lot of things when it comes to education. So the best thing that we can do is to enroll students with merit into the University of the Gambia. Because we are only looking to have only one. Mr. Moderator, I think I will rest my case.
Thank you very much. If the House said we would like to hear from the last speaker of the government bench, who is the government bench. Please, the House said please. Honorable, you may proceed. Please. Can you let the honorable speak, please? Honorable, you can proceed.
Honorable Chair, I respect Dr. Rick to summarize, reinforce, and expand the case made by the opponent and closing document. Today's motion is not about weakening education, it is about making it more inclusive, responsive, and aligned with national development goals. We believe that looking UTG's admission criteria is a strategic, ethical, and progressive form that gives more Gambians a chance to contribute to the growth of our nation through higher education. So before proceeding, I would like to give the structure of my debate as the government with. First is the debunk those baseless points mentioned by the opponent of our opposition bench. Two is to highlight and strengthen the points given by the government bench. And then three is to give the alternatives. And then four, I shall conclude. And to remind this opponent bench that I'm not taking any POIs. Now to begin, it is both disappointment and telling that the opposition bench came into this house to debate against a motion without presenting any well-decided arguments. Instead, they relied on vague assertions and substantiated claims, offering no credible evidence to back their stance. I believe this House will not give this opposition bench the government if they cannot even pronounce the correct word they are debating on. What is correct? Let me come to the opposition too. It's more outside of what by expanding opportunities. Let me tell you something. A university's strength is measured not just how it gets people in, but by how much it contributes to access. One of the points mentioned by the opponent bench was elevated decline. What's your define I think about the UDT? The UDT is it's already defined. Therefore, there is a standard of the UDT. The other thing we are talking about lowering standard. My Prime Minister gave us the right of UDT in the worldwide in Africa. We have no standards. So what standards are you talking about? You want to do the standards or you have to follow the standards? I don't think what she was talking about. So the graphic. So talking about lab shortages. Lab shortages have very good admission of students. That is the role of the University of the Gambia. If you want to actually have a university, you should actually provide enough lab for medical students. So that has nothing to do with admission. And the other thing they also said was lack of trust in UTG graduates by employees. What are you talking about? Okay, now let's say for example, if the UTG admission criteria is 5 subjects, credits with maths and English, we have students with 3 credits who are admitted into the Gambia College, and they are graduates and are at the schools teaching. So you want to tell me that those people are not well qualified, even after going to the college for 3 or 4 years and are being prepared. And those are the same teachers that taught them in primary school and junior schools. So what are they doing? And the other thing, the opposition member came here without even telling us who he is. He was just talking about one university. To make something clear, the Gambia have 2 universities. Actually, it's now 3. We just been inaugurated this week. You have the University of the Gambia, you have Iowa, and you have UCEP, which will be inaugurated this week by the President. And then, to highlight the points mentioned by the government mentioned, one is the requirement for English and maths credits for all programs, which is invalid, I think, because you have students who are going to study international relations, journalism. They don't need mathematics in their courses. Why are you forcing them to have credits in mathematics to study journalism and international relations, development studies? Why? And the other thing was lack of academic flexibility. For example, a graduate in arts class cannot go and study nursing and medicine. Why? Why is that? I think most of our fields we do in senior secondary schools are based on our GABC results. When you have your GABC results, they send you to arts or science classes. So let's say through your senior education, you have built an interest in studying nursing, and now you are declared of that chance because you studied arts in senior school. I think that should be removed. And the other thing, my government member here mentioned about access to education is a human right, not a privilege, as it is stated in the Constitution. And I believe that every member of this House knows that access to education, especially higher education, is a right, not a privilege. And then the other one is boosting national development and labor force. And then after that, I will bring an alternative. UDG's admission should be losing to promote talents which are somewhat denied, because having poor grades in exams do not define you. For example, some students will come with 9 credits and they cannot defend it at UDG. They have seen it. I think at UDG people with 9 credits, but they cannot defend it when you come to UDG courses. So why are you giving them admission if they cannot defend it? The second thing is, while some students will have weak grades, yet they excel at UDG. Exams could be funny and are not the best way to determine one's intelligence. So, as government, we will ensure that admission criteria at the university is based on person and what one should do, but not based on grades only. For example, an alternative that can be brought in is the introduction of transcripts. Senior school transcripts should be introduced into the UDG admission criteria. They should be used to give admission to students, high school students, based on their transcripts. That is a very good alternative. I'll propose this. Now, in conclusion, now that we have dismantled the narrow vision of this opposition, allow me to conclude the case with added clarity on why our model ensures quality while expanding access. We believe UDG must reflect the reality of the Gambia, not a privileged few, but the full potential of its people. Now, before going, I would like to ask this House a question. At the end of this debate, ask yourself, who built a more inclusive, practical, and nationally beneficial vision of the UDG's future? The government did, of course. We didn't agree to lower standards. We agreed to broaden opportunities. We showed how losing admission criteria does not destroy excellence. It advances in the context of national growth.
If the House is set, we would like to hear from the opposition whip.
Good afternoon. Pronunciation is what you're worried about. You're more worried about the pronunciation than your member that doesn't know what the date is standing for. You don't know what motion you're for. You came before the House and told us that we shouldn't lose it right here. Where are you, for us or against us? So if you're worried about pronunciation rather than correcting your government member, I don't think your decisions or your ways of putting things across are anything we should really consider. Mr. Speaker, I am David Jiva and I'm here as the closing witness. First, I'll give you the structure of my debate. Basically, we've already said everything we're supposed to say, and we believe that this, as an house of intellect, is in itself here to understand what we said. We're not here rambling on what pronunciation is brought forward. Whatever member came and did not give what he's supposed to say, did not give his name. The content is what matters. He's not here to tell you his name, he's here to tell you what he knows. If that does not move you, his name would never. Mr. Speaker, I haven't accepted the PUI. Mr. Speaker, we have shown that loosening the UTG's admission criteria would undermine academic quality. It would harm the students' outcomes, and it would damage national development. This debate is not about whether education should be accessible. This debate is, we all agreed on that. We all agreed on that. We all agreed on that. It's about how can we achieve access without compromising the academic integrity of the country. The government bench, you've argued for equity through lower barriers. The opposition bench, on the other hand, argued for equity through preparatory investment and maintain standards. This isn't a debate between elitism and fairness. It's a debate between shortcuts and sustainable solutions. The government side told us that loosening criteria helps disadvantaged students who are unfairly filtered out. Our bench, both the opposition and the closing opposition, has demonstrated that students admitted without sufficient academic preparation are more likely to drop out. The achievement you're talking about at vocational, they're supposed to do, that's not offered in the UTG. If you want them to be vocationally good, you put them in places that offer you vocational subjects. The UTG is an academic place. If they are not qualified for that, we cannot put them there. The closing opposition's cooperative. See, this is not access, it's really just a false promise. A student who enters unprepared, we leave defeated. We uplift students before admission. We do not uplift them at admission. Can I give you a period?
It seems like the commission bench was not listening where I was giving my point. Okay. I didn't make mention of any vocational skills. I made mention of school of education.
Okay. Thank you for your input. The government bench is not you alone, it's the entire government bench. So I want you to listen. Yes, you've made your point.
When that information is different from the question.
Thank you. You're taking my time. I've already gotten your point. I wasn't referring to you specifically. I was referring to the entire bench. The government claims as if UTG can fix the educational gap after admission. UTG is already under-resourced with infrastructure, staffing and last stages. In 2023, as I have said before, the final year medical students were delayed to last stages. So where exactly is that support system in the government or at the UTG? The Speaker, there's not really much to debate here as a closing way. The government hasn't really understood the topic. They came forward, they have mixed up themselves, somewhere for the motion, somewhere against the motion, somewhere on their side, somewhere on my side. And I thank you for it. But then, as we said, we have already, I believe we have convinced you with everything we've said, that the UTG should definitely not losing its criteria. Instead, we should find other ways to make sure that the people meet the standards of the university. And if they don't meet it from high school because their teachers weren't good enough, we give them ways that they can uplift themselves. You let people You lift people up. You don't bring yourself down. This is a standard of a country. We will not compromise. With this, I respect.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Modu Luis and I was the Speaker of the House. So by concluding this debate, the House put forward was the House will lose in UTG's admission criteria, which the government then supported, and it was opposed by the opposition bench. So by concluding this debate, we would like to have suggestions or opinions from the general members. We have 5 minutes. Anyone who wants to give their opinions or suggestions, we will take it from the general members, please. Sanjay?
Thank you very much for putting on the spot, so I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I would definitely agree with the government. And you use English to write those, get those A's, and you're able to get a credit in English and you are denied. So it was just confusing for me. For maths, I can understand it could be compulsory because everyone needs maths. But English is just a medium of communication. Why English is a compulsory thing? India here, people are using Gujarati, and they are actually video classes beating you guys. So for me, it was very funny. So I would definitely agree with them that making it compulsory for English and, for example, English and math was unnecessary. They would make it more flexible to at least allow people, especially skill-based people, to excel, like the science and technology people, to excel and only focus on English and math. Thank you. That was my
Why putting me on the spot? Yes, I would. Positive sides of having some form of standards or some level of criteria, because for every event, for every activity, you're supposed to have some form of a baseline, so that you don't just also take anything or anyone, because now you're going to be grooming people that will be responsible to make decisions for thousands and thousands of people. And this is one of the highest institutions of the state. You need to vet the kind of people that you bring in at the time that they are supposed to come in. Because otherwise, you will be opening a room for a disaster. A disaster in terms of ethical conduct, in terms of the logical reasoning, and so much other things. Because people that are not that much sharp, for example, you take people that are not at par, you can enroll them into the university in fields, technical fields, construction, medicine, and their brains are not that much at par with the required standard. You are bringing a recipe for a disaster, either in terms of even drug medication or not understanding what is being taught. And at the end of the day, these people will just, graduate to become medical doctors, to become medical doctors that will be given wrong medication, that will be focused on ethical stuff. For engineers, that will be constructing bridges, and the bridge, instead of taking 50 years, the bridge will just take 10 years or 5 years, and everything would go down. So all those things, as a result of the enrollment, start from the enrollment. India, they have those criteria, of course, they look at certain criteria. So if the government, I would say, they can look at other criteria. Instead of getting rid of that total English and math, they can come up with other criteria or other forms of vetting to gauge the logical reasoning of these people. I would like to draw the curtain here. I think we have guests. Can we please rise?
their level of expertise, their level of reasoning, then you can absorb them into the university. So I think that is something that I would support. So now I'd like to thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Do we have any other questions from the general members regarding the topic? Also, we'll take only one question.
Yes. I will call you. I say that each institution is supposed to have a standard of entry. For instance, people are claiming that based on Gambia, because in Gambia we don't have script for our language. We do have it, but we don't know it even. Even myself, who said I claim to be a Mandinka, they said Mandinka book is there, but I've never seen it. So, for that being the case, these people are learning English. Then they also know how to read. If you cannot even understand what you are reading, how are you going to implement that? Understand? That's my point here. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm also going to take a middle ground here. You know, the purpose of this debate is not just for us to celebrate elephants or who has a more fun in mind. You know, it's for us to substantiate very important points that can actually shape one of us, at least one of us, mindset who will one day evolve and become a leader, make those important decisions for us back home. So, there's no doubt standards are very important. You know, in any institution you should have standards, but also in ways to arrive at the standards should be very much flexible. We ensure that we have enough people who are there and actually making those standards. Now, somebody has a saying that there's a saying that excellence is actually a journey, not a destination. So we can raise the standards high, but let's allow people to be given the chance to actually strive towards that excellence. It's sad that many people actually shut down when it comes to the government education. After their senior level education, many are shut down because when you have, for example, you can have 3 subjects in A, and then God forbid if you fail maths or English, at the end of the day, people look at you with that kind of eye that you don't have what it takes to be that kind of student. And that is not the case. So please, let's all get the message. It's important we have the standards, but let's be flexible. This obviously going to calculus. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's take the last question.
Sorry, yeah, I'm so sorry, I've been going up and down, but this is a topic that I was so interested on. Something I've been discussed here, that is about the university strike idea. I believe treating unequal people equally is a sign of injustice. There is something that we need to understand. Education in the Congo area and education in the provincial Gambia is very, very different. I mean, a living example here. I live in Parapanya, and I know how it was. I can remember, I don't mind to say, in my grade 9 exam, I got aggregate 13, which is a 2 digit. You remember 2 digit? Just technology, it's a 2 digit, So provided this student did not admit me and I did not go there to compete, there might be potentials in me that will never come up. But at the end I was lucky to get into Newsland and then, be with Congo people and then see the way they do things. And when I adopted it, I end up like with 7 S2Bs. So you can see that, at the end, the result you might get in those areas, and where you are going, that place might kill you. So that's why there are certain things that they need to consider. Even if there is need to provide an entrance examination, we are still to be given equal chance to study, and then do the same exam, then you see. But sometimes it's not fair at all, so use just the baby. Where this one is prepared in Congo, this one is prepared somewhere else, where they don't even have proper textbooks, where teachers don't complete syllabus, they struggle with that. You just want to use that criteria to say they won't get access to tertiary education. It's not fair at all. So things like that need to be considered. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to you all for doing wonderful contributions. This was honorably the honorable speaker of the house. Therefore, I rest. Can you please proceed to take the group picture, please?
Those that are outside, would you please come inside? If you're not part of the cultural crew, would you please come inside? And if you're sitting at the back, please come and occupy the front seats. Let us occupy the front seats, please. Let us not leave them empty. Those at the back, especially from my right hand, Geneva and others, Suleiman and others, let us please occupy the front seats. Please. So that when a picture is taken, it's going to show that the seats are occupied correctly. We should not leave spaces. I would like to turn for the debate team that just debated here. Debate is different in our culture and traditions. How is debate rooted in our cultures and traditions? If you go to the Bantaba, the local Bantabas, you will see our grandparents, you will see our dads. They'll be meeting there every afternoon. And there will be topics that they will be arguing about. Important topics. Gossip, discussing everything, arguing. All those are forms of debate. We need constructive debates. As people that are working on policies, from health policies to education, engineering, agriculture, international policies, we need constructive debates. We need people that think critically. Debate helps you to be a critical thinker. Debate helps you to be someone who analyzes, someone who thinks outside the box. It helps you to come up with ideas that you can wither and come up with the best idea that is possible for you to implement in your country. We have our parliamentarians at the National Assembly who are not so much schooled in debate, so they cannot argue. Some of them are elected in positions by their constituents, but they are just there, sitting down like rubber stamps. They cannot listen and understand how to argue what is good for their constituencies. That is why we need debate. So if you have this kind of platform given to you as students, utilize the platform to participate. And I'm glad these people have portrayed that sense of responsibility. They have argued their points. And you know, these people started debate. Some of them started debate during this period. The Executive Council organized this state debate. Because I've seen a representative from Gujarat in the name of Abdullah. I've seen a representative from Maharashtra in the name of Abdullah. And the one who was moderating, of course, is an ardent debater. I've seen a representative from Punjab in the name of Abdullah Party. I've seen a representative from Punjab also in the name of Aida Vale. These people, they continue this trend, and tomorrow they have a position of responsibility back home. They would participate fully. And they would also be constructive debaters. You don't just have to be a debater by insulting or caricaturing. You have to be a constructive debater. On that note, I would like to thank them once again. A round of applause for this. And another round of applause for our new guest that just joined us, Her Excellency from the Gam-Ind High Commission. And Dependa Kenya. A round of applause for us. And of course, another round of applause for Sina Kenya, who accompany her. The Gam-Ind students in India highly welcome you to this auspicious occasion. We are anticipating your arrival, and we are glad that you are here with us today. So the next item we have on the agenda is a cultural showcase. So many things have happened from yesterday, ranging from panel discussions on Gambia's shift to digital economy shift, to Gambia's digital economy shift, to blood donation. These are important topics that students actively discuss, and then it has risen the scope of knowledge for most of us that were here. And cultural showcase. So today we have another cultural showcase that is just at the corner. I hope the cultural team is ready. The cultural crew, Arizon, and my technical guy get set. It is an honor to welcome a very important culture or tribe in Gambia, the Sere tribe. The Sere people are people that are very hardworking, committed, and they are very much important in the history of the Gambia. And they have this what we call Nafio Hamen, which means may peace be with you. Carved by the hands of time and guided by the stars of Pango spirits. The Sere are keepers of ancient knowledge and scared tradition. But the royal thoughts of sin to the great calling rituals of old, the Sere people embody spiritual legacy and taught agriculture, astronomy, and ancestral communion. In the Gambia, they are usually settled around water bodies, as they usually serve as fishermen. Their history is one of valor with roots deep in resilience and rebellions. On that note, let me call on the Sere tribe to display the culture of this series.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Sarah. That's a wonderful performance from the series. A display of cultural dance from the series. This is what we expected. There is this joking relationship between series, jolas, and fullers. So we are going to play one track here, which is a jola track, to complement the effort of the series. And we expect almost everyone, as far as you can, to come to the stage and dance. So after this track, we'll go to the next activity. So technical expert, will you please start? Starting from the president. Let us come up here. Everyone.
Andiamo vestiato.
Thank you very much. We have
one more session. Can you please, those outside, the other part of the panelists, could you please come inside? Could you please come inside? This is the final session for today. And the topic of this panel is challenging harmful laws that hold women and girls back. Challenging harmful laws that hold women and girls back. That's a very important topic. What are the harmful norms that hold women and girls back, especially in the context of the girl? Now, when a panel is about to come on stage, you should understand the topic very well, even before the delivery of the topic. Try to figure out what you expect to learn from this topic. What are the norms? What are those harmful norms? Now we're talking about the harmful norms that hold women and girls back. What are those harmful norms in the Gambia that holds them back? One of them could be early marriage. Some of our girls, especially our female part, they are forced to early marriage. They are not yet at that age to decide for themselves the person that they want to get married. And that is a recipe to disaster in marriage. Some of them also are not given access or chance to pursue education. You go to some families, they prefer to send their male child to school and girl child. And we have also seen where some of the jobs or some roles are being reserved for men in the society. Whatever a man can do, a woman can do. Now, when we talk about that, we're talking about in terms of responsibility, in terms of leadership, in terms of leadership. So the next panel is going to discuss on this important topic. Let us listen attentively and we contribute to the conversation. Let me call on the first panelist for this forum, for this discussion, who is no other panelist but Louis Baji. A round of applause for Louis Baji. Louis Baji is a master's student in clinical psychology. He is in his final year, and he is studying in the United States, and he is from Mandayapura in the Gambia. A round of applause for Louis. The next panelist we have right now is Tida Kamara. Round of applause for Tida. Tida Kamara is a PhD student, finally a PhD student, who specializes in logistics and supply chain management. She is from Andhra Pradesh State, and she is a learning place in Uganda. Welcome to you. The next panelist we have is Ibrahim Mambo, who is the president and the Institute of Ghana student in India, Sri Lanka College of Commerce. He's also a graduate, he's from Pratik. The next panelist we have, who of course are not a panelist but the moderator for this important event, is Ida Bale. Ida Bale is a law student. Secondly, a law student. A lot of applause for the lawyers. The next final speaker for this panel is Fatmata Vijay. Fatmata is a logistics supply chain management student. She's in our final year. She's from Andhra Pradesh and she's from Salaji. Regardless. And after the show, we also let you minister of Gam-Ind. Welcome, so I would like to welcome this important panel. We hope that panel will do justice to this discussion and will give us something to go on. So, Ida, we'll start with you. Thank you.
But everything of now.
So I don't know your contact free. No my guy from state. So but I
As you can see, myself here and
so by exam no so
I'm handsome out here.
no na contact yo como no na desal ko do la ko.
Challenging harmful norms that hold women and girls back in our today's society. As you all know, this topic is very, very broad because there are a lot of challenges that hold women and girls back in today's society. There are a lot of challenges. But just to let you know, because time is an enemy and it needs to be on our side. So to start with, let me start by introducing my panelists. On my right, I have Louis Lyman. Louis is a master's student in clinical psychology. Around across the Louis, please. And Louis is a master's student for psychology. And next to Louis, we have Ms. Ida Kamara. Ms. Ida Kamara is a BBA student, majoring in logistics and supply chain management. So, Ms. Ida Kamara, you are welcome to today's panel. And to my left, I have our humble president, our outgoing president, Mr. Ibrahim Mbowe. Mr. Ibrahim Mbowe, you are welcome to today's panel. Round of applause for Mr. Ibrahim Mbowe. And next to Mr. Ibrahim Mbowe, we have Mrs. Fatima Pite. Mrs. Fatima Pite is a final year BBA student, majoring in logistics and supply chain management. A round of applause for Mrs. Fatima Pite. Mrs. Fatima Pite, you are welcome to today's panel. So, let's get started. So to mention the topic again, the challenges how to know that whole women and girls back. As I said, there are a lot of challenges that whole women and girls back in today's generation, such as the period shame and the period taboo, the female genital mutilation, the forced and the child marriage, and so on and so forth. But today there are few that we have here, and the panelists are going to clarify those challenges and harmful norms that are going. And have some proposing women just antecedents for this today, and actually that we would like to hear. Antipenda, sorry, Antipenda. Antipenda is here with us today. She's a very, very proposing woman, a woman, and we would like to hear your contribution on the topic. So let's get started. Okay. So to start with, we are starting with Ms. Ida Kamara. Ms. Ida Kamara will be talking about gender-based violence, and she'll be answering some questions for us today. Ms. Ida, your topic is gender-based violence. Can you share this topic to the audience, please? What do you know about gender-based violence?
My name is Ida Kamara, DBA student, specialized in logistics and supply chain management. I am from undergrad, attending Yale University. Okay, today the topic is gender-based violence. As we all know, gender-based violence is becoming rampant in the Gambia nowadays. We are all seeing it. So before going into the topic, I would like to highlight gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is any intentional act against a person on the basis of their gender, either physically, sexually, or psychological harm. So,
Thank you, Ms. Ida. Thank you, Ms. Ida. That was a big discussion about gender-based violence. So your question is, Ms. Ida. Now, in your opinion, your own opinion, what role does society silence play in abolition gender-based? In your opinion, what role does society silence, the silence of the society, play in abolition gender-based violence? That's the question.
let me get this straight like personal thing. Now, this is from society. When it comes to gender-based violence, normalization. Yeah, normalizing gender-based violence. Because when they will not get the justice they deserve because of the silence of the society. And nowadays we have seen a 3-year girl child can be raped by her father, uncle, cousin, like relatives and neighbors. So this gender-based violence is not only about being raped, it's about even the women who are in marriage. Their husband is harassing mentally, physically, sexually, psychologically. Even when it comes to the work environment, when it comes to this bedroom issue, like apartments, because we are all adults. When it comes to sex, so intentional. It's not to a force on a woman to have sex with her husband. We should be respected. We should be valued. We are not just like yeah. Yeah. Sorry for the word. But we have to use it. We are not sex animals. Exactly. We are there for a reason, for a purpose, and we should be cherished. But some men in marriage, they see us as like, yeah, we should satisfy them with them. We should do all their jobs for them. We all do. And for women, that affects either sexually, mentally, it can cause trauma. So women, they suffer in marriage, and they can commit suicide. So gender-based violence is very, very important to discuss about. It's a topic that society should be aware of. It's a topic that society should not be silent on. It's a topic that every man in the society has to be cautious when it comes to gender-based violence. And when you say silence about it, the justice system will be weak. The government cannot help the survivors. They cannot protect them. The justice for them, that's who is hard, cannot be served. The perpetrators will be walking freely. And the victims, like, for example, when you rape a girl, and for example, when you rape a girl, and you're in the same family with the girl, the family will say, I'm not so what and that is wrong. Even your biological father, when he raped you, he should face the justice he deserves. We should not be silent about it. How we are computer safe and have computer safe and you see why not? Oh, sorry. Why do you think menstruation is still a taboo for women? Why do you think? What do you think? It must be. Okay. Why do you think menstruation is still a taboo topic? Okay, menstruation, in our generation, menstruation is still a taboo. Politically, culturally, tradition, and norms. See, menstruation has impurity, sin, uncleanness, irritation. It's a thing that inside it's a generation. Like we inherit it from our grandparents up to this generation. In some families, we don't talk about periods. When you are in your menstruation, you should not talk about it. And that is not normal. Because as a girl, you have to be educated on how to clean yourself. Hygiene. And menstruation is a mental health. It's a mental health. It's not something that, like, when you are on your period, to see who you are unclean. to not attend some religious ceremony. That's a bad concept. And in some society, they see information as substitution, thing, like it brings bad luck. It brings bad luck. A girl on her period do not get close to a man because it will bring bad luck to that man. And this is a wrong mentality that we have. Menstruation is something that really weird, not a symbol, saying or voicing out. Or voicing out. But you know, in the menstruation, it comes with a lot of complications. Headache, abdominal pain, breast swelling, etc. and etc. And menstruation should be something that should be part of our curriculum. It should be part of our curriculum. In schools, we should include it. Teach both boys and girls about menstruation. Everything surrounding it. There's nothing behind it. So that the boys can know what the girls are going through. They can help them. And in schools too, the schools should provide a sense of feedback. Including toilet room for the girls to clean themselves, a sanitary pad that a girl can use when she sees her menstruation in school. Example, you can go to school. Menstruation is something that you can see at any time. It's not like this specific thing is fixed for a girl to see her menstruation. So when you are in school and you see your menstruation, you have no money with you to buy a sanitary pad. How can you take care of yourself? You will be even ashamed to stand up, to walk free in school. So when it's part of our curriculum, you will see schools will provide sanitary pads for every girl in school. Our modern thing that menstruation is taboo. Africa is a menstruation, they'll be like, and some of us, we start in our menstruation, instead of giving us sanitary pads, you know, our mothers were supposed to be sanitary pads in their time. They use cloth. And they don't know how to take care of this cloth that they use, and it end up giving them infection and some womb of the vaginal diseases and womb disorders and all of them. They'll give you a cloth, and as a girl, in most of our households, they'll give you a cloth to use when you're on your menstruation. And this cloth, you will be allowed to handle it where the household will see your brothers or your father, or the boys in the household will see it. You see some girls, if you use this cloth, they'll go and hide it. After washing it, they'll hide it under the bed, behind the cupboard. You know, somewhere very, very secretive where nobody will see. And they never use it, and that will end up giving them vaginal disorders. You know, this vaginal disease, you end up smelling, you will sit down and your vagina will be smelling. He actually, so when they have the very disorders, and some of their brothers were like, that place smells like fish. And it's not a woman here. It's not a woman here. This happens so that you have to be aware of. You think that it's normal. But no one thinks this is not something that is normal. And that's the correct thing. And some men, some boys, they are dating. They don't know some of the things that come to the menstruation, like the period cramp, the loose swings, the swelling of the bones, and all of that. So if you see your girl be on menstruation and she's giving you anticonception, giving you bad vibes, you'll be like, I mean, that is all. That is all. So, move on. That is not on our side. Let's move on to Mrs. Fantasy. And Mrs. Fantasy will be having a female genital mutilation. This is FDL and control over women's body. And Mrs. Fantasy, your topic on female genital mutilation and control over women's body is why does FDL still persist despite national and global campaign against it? So repeat. Why does Now, I'll be talking about as we try to talk of even though it has now some people after the ban of they would say that we can do it amongst our family. Now we have all these aunties that will do this privately. Some will even go to the extent of their female but so that when you are very young, as a survivor of female genital mutilation, when I'm talking about it, I get too emotional. I don't usually make research about female genital mutilation because I know consequences that I am facing. The reason why it is still persistent in our culture is because of cultural affairs. Now, some areas they believe that this is one of the most important from that they should observe. It's like if they don't observe it on the guard is unclean. Your womanhood is not complete. The reason that they will give, the only positive, I wouldn't even say a positive reason, they will say that it reduces your sex pleasure. Now, as a woman, when your sex pleasure is reduced, what impact does that have on you? It has zero impact on you. And most of the time, those people that are observing this, they don't know the harmful impact of female genital mutilation. I think that is also one of the reasons why it is still persistent in the Gambia. I don't like to go into too much religious stuff because we all know sometimes how religious it is. But then it is also a misconception that is also connected with female genital mutilation. Like people would say that it is a sunnah to observe it. But among the sunnahs that are mentioned, we don't usually observe all these sunnahs. How many of us will say that we completely pray our tahajjud every single day? Or we fast on Thursdays and Mondays, which is also a sunnah. So why are we selecting sunnahs among sunnahs?